welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to start with something that seems almost ridiculously simple, a gaming mousepad. And we're going to use it to uncover some deep, kind of counterintuitive truths about what it really takes to become great at, well, pretty much anything. And check this out. This quote comes from Boardsy, a top-tier peripheral reviewer, who basically says that for him, the whole obsession with finding the one perfect pad, it's over. The game is changed.
So that raises a really fascinating question, doesn't it? If the experts, the pros, are already moving on, why do we even talk about a perfect surface as being the first step to becoming great? To get that, we need to understand what problem they were even trying to solve in the first place. Okay, so first things first, we have to start with the physical foundation, with the tool itself.
As you'll hear from pretty much any tech reviewer, modern mice can track on almost anything these days. But for high-stakes competition, you need that stability, that consistency that only a dedicated surface can give you.
And this is where it gets really interesting, seeing how different brands attack the exact same problem. You've got the BenQ Zowie over here focusing on a humidity-resistant cloth and a softer base for what they call effortless topping. Then on the other hand, you have the ESP Tiger using a three-dimensional weaving fabric and a much denser base to get high XY axis consistency. See that? Two totally different paths leading to the exact same goal, absolute control. So the crucial point here, the big takeaway, is that it all just boils down to control and reliability. The ultimate goal is to make the physical surface so predictable that it just disappears. It becomes an extension of you, allowing your skill to be the one and only variable that matters.
But is a perfect tool really enough? Well, this is where our journey takes a sharp turn, away from the physical world and deep into the psychological, into something called the reality distortion field.
This is a seriously powerful concept from performance psychology. It's this idea that to do something truly great, you first have to believe you can do it, even when all the evidence, all the data, says you probably shouldn't.
And look no further than chess grandmaster Magnus Carlsen. He uses this exact logic. He says that to beat the best in the world, you have to adopt a mindset of, quote, delusional optimism. Otherwise, you just end up playing timidly.
And wow, does this just brilliantly illustrate the whole idea? Muhammad Ali used grandiosity as a weapon. He used it to suppress his own fear and to totally intimidate his opponents, effectively making his own claim a reality. That is the reality distortion field in action.
So the really crucial point here is understanding the difference between a functional tool and a clinical problem. Adaptive grandiosity is like a temporary scaffold you use. It's a bridge you build to get to a new, higher level of performance. It's not about losing touch with reality. It's about creating a new one.
Okay, so you've got the perfect tool. You've got the winning mindset. What could possibly go wrong? Well, the answer is the final and honestly the most surprising barrier to peak performance. We see marketing slogans like this all the time, right? Promising to ignite greatness if you just buy their product. But what if the very thing that extinguishes greatness is kindness? I know, it sounds wild, but this is the concept of pathological altruism, where the act of trying to be helpful actually ends up causing real harm. Psychologist Evelyn Sommers has a name for this: the tyranny of niceness. It's that cultural pressure we all feel to just prioritize pleasant interactions over truthful ones. It makes us avoid discomfort by giving false or inflated praise, and that creates a huge barrier to ever becoming truly competent. And here's how it actually works. First, false praise messes up your brain's ability to learn. It prevents those crucial error correction signals from ever firing. Second, it creates this deep-seated anxiety that you're going to be found out, a classic case of imposter syndrome. And finally, it teaches you that your efforts don't really matter, blurring the lines until you can't even tell what's working anymore. So, let's pull all of these different threads together. What does this journey, from a mousepad all the way to neuroscience, really tell us about what it takes to achieve high performance?
True peak performance, it turns out, really requires a trinity. You need a stable surface, the right tools. You need delusional optimism, the right mindset. And you absolutely need honest feedback, the right social environment to calibrate your skills against reality. If one of those is missing, the whole thing just doesn't work.
And that leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought to consider. In our constant quest to be nice to each other, are we accidentally becoming the biggest obstacle to each other's growth? Something to think about.